that banks can get their heads around in a relatively timely manner, right? Getting 3 to 5 years financials from audited financials from a company who hasn't audited their financials is a big headache. Getting a lien to value ratio analysis done of a property is much, much easier. And getting the local government out of the process where the PACE lien is what's being underwritten by bankers is something that is much more exciting, much more repeatable, much more cost effective, much more timely. All those great things we want in a financing program, and that's what's happening now in other parts of the country. And that's why we, here in Nevada, we want to see a PACE law passed so that we can take advantage of this. There's a lot of money out there for this. We can learn from best practices in other states, learn what to do and what not to do, and we can build a program here that benefits everyone. Some of the things we have to have in there are we have to make sure that the projects make sense. There has to be some standardization of what a energy efficiency, renewable energy project entails. And those are things that are either in the bill or things we'll work on when a county adopts a program. And so we're very excited about this bill, AB 5. We would encourage your listeners to call your lawmakers in the state legislature if you're so interested. Excuse me, and voice your support, because that's very important.
Thank you, Tim. And on the phone we have Tom and Jessica. Tom, Jessica, do you have any updates on AB 5 or any other legislation? Thanks, Tom. You want to update us on some of these other bills? We've been talking about AB 223 and a few others. What have you got to tell us about what's happened in the last few days in legislation?
Exactly. AB 223 is sponsored by Assemblyman William McCurdy of North Las Vegas. It's a bill that would increase the number of efficiency programs kind of throughout the entire state, but also focus on some of the more challenged areas in low-income energy efficiency and multifamily. That's an area where we need to see some additional resources put to. Is for those of us that are renting, there's a disconnect between those of us that are paying the bills, the renters, and we don't have the incentive to do major improvements to the properties, whereas those the owners and property managers, they're not paying the bills. So that's an opportunity for the utility program to step in, and something that we think that AB 223 would help encourage is to see that the rental market has more energy efficiency programs, that low-income folks have the chance to save energy and money, and when those constituencies can save $20 a month or whatever it might be on their energy bills, again, kind of as Tim said, that's a local economic stimulus. When we can save energy and money, then we can spend it in the local economy. So AB 223 has received a lot of support. It's one of the bills that's up there on the legislative website that people can add their support to. Corresponding bill in the state Senate is SB 150. That has a few additional components, but another one that would help increase the efficiency in the state of Nevada, and one that we encourage people to both check out and to support.
On SB 150 talks about expanding the efficiency programs in Nevada. Who's that for? Is that for residential, municipalities, commercial?
All of the above. What we're really trying to do is, as we look at the Public Utility Commission and how they evaluate how we meet the energy needs for Nevada in the future, we want to make sure that energy efficiency programs are kind of put on the same playing field, the same scales of economic analysis as are the supply side option. We think that there's an opportunity to increase the spending on energy efficiency programs and thereby defer the need for more expensive supply side options. We want to spend more of our dollars here locally in Nevada and reduce the amount of power we're importing from outside the state. So those bills would, number one, put efficiency up on a level playing field with supply side options, and we think that's going to increase the amount of energy efficiency available to all Nevadans in all those sectors you just mentioned.
Well, that's a good point, Tom. And for those of us that work in the business, we know that efficiency and conservation are the first two steps you want to take before you take a look at renewables. So unless you're working with efficient equipment and conserving as much energy through operations as possible, you're going to spend too much on renewables. So back to PACE a little bit, SB 407 talks about the Green Bank in Nevada to finance energy projects. How's that bill going?
It's coming up for hearing this upcoming Friday, is my understanding, so certainly plenty of time for folks to check that out. Again, it's a very citizen-friendly legislature, and definitely our legislators at both ends of the state are very receptive to their constituents' input. Green banks is another financing opportunity, and as Tim mentioned, sometimes some of these technologies that save a lot of energy on a life cycle basis are more expensive. So if we can come up with innovative financing mechanisms such as PACE, such as green banks, and some other opportunities, we can put these more efficient technologies into play and reap the economic benefits over time. So a lot of these new technologies are coming online. The other aspect I just wanted to reinforce is that technology is improving tremendously. I mean, back in the day, compact fluorescent lighting was kind of the standard, and that now seems passé old technology as compared to the light-emitting diodes, LEDs, and that's kind of the state of energy efficiency across the board. There's a tremendous amount of technological innovation that's going into the efficiency space as well as the renewables, and so there's maybe some of the older low-hanging fruit has been picked, but there's a new crop of technologically produced fruit that's available to reap. So every time that we take a look at retrofitting a building, there's probably going to be a new, better way of saving energy and money just down the road, so we can keep on improving the productivity of energy and keep on becoming more productive as a state economy.
Thank you, Tom. And SB 145 provides for additional distributed generation planning. What do you know about that?
Distributed generation is a topic that is receiving a lot of attention for a number of reasons. Certainly putting energy supply at the point of use, and the distributed generation concept is that we're going to increase the number of more locally produced energy supply options. There's a number of benefits to that. From an efficiency standpoint is one, but a number of experts have been coming to the state of Nevada from a military and national security standpoint, just taking the position that the more diversified our energy supply is, and with greater production at the point of use, that increases the resiliency of the grid and thereby enhances the national security and our local resiliency. It doesn't necessarily have to be against a man-made threat. It could also be here in the north. We've recently had some pretty severe winter weather. Could be other heat-related incidents where power goes out in southern Nevada, or for other natural causes. So distributed generation is receiving more attention, and that's a bill also, too, that we think is very worthy of public attention.
Thank you, Tom. And we're going to have Jessica talk to us a little bit about some of these solar bills when we come back. Shades of Green on KDWN. We'll be right back.